Here are the directions for Part 2. In this part, you will hear 5 passages, A through E. Each passage will be followed by 2 questions, number 11 through number 20. For each question, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The passage and the questions will be given only once. Now, let's begin.
A. Nations and multilingualism. Multilingualism is a challenge for some nations, big or small. Ethnic groups are naturally protective of their own languages, and sometimes do not want to learn others. For instance, Austria-Hungary, which emerged in 1867, encompassed a wide range of people and languages. German was the sole official language, while Hungarian was an unofficial second one. Ruling cliques spoke German or Hungarian. As a general rule, non-German or non-Hungarian groups could not freely use their languages or move up in the social ladder. When World War I came, ordinary soldiers often could not even understand their German or Hungarian officers. This miscommunication led to inevitable defeat and the breakup of the empire. Switzerland, which is also multilingual, became a country a few decades before Austria-Hungary. It also has several official languages: French, German, Italian, and Romansh. German is spoken by 63% of the populace, but the biggest Swiss cities are multilingual. Federal laws are in French, but also translated into all official languages. The population of each Swiss canton, or state, mainly has speakers of one official language. As a resulting benefit, each official language has a home where most people speak that language. Moreover, the Swiss are quite patriotic. While differences in language and culture have often been the cause of conflict, they have become a source of strength in Switzerland.
Questions. Number 11. What reason does the speaker give for the decline of Austria-Hungary? Number 12. What is one feature of Switzerland?
B. A blood test revolution? Blood tests are critical for patient care. Through these diagnostic tests, doctors can see whether patients have an infection or disease, as well as make overall health assessments. However, typically, one tube of blood must be drawn as a sample for each condition to be tested for. As a result, a patient being tested for several possible conditions needs as many samples of blood drawn. This is time-consuming and sometimes uncomfortable for the patient. Also, with a large volume of tubes, a few inevitably get damaged or lost. It would be ideal if an AI-based system were devised that could test for multiple medical conditions at once from a single sample. One firm named Theranos claimed that it was able to do all of this and more. Founded in 2003 by Elizabeth Holmes, it had attracted billions of dollars in investment by 2015 and turned Holmes into an audacious young icon, similar to Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg. It was in this same year, though, that investigations showed that Theranos's equipment simply did not work. Moreover, the firm had hidden this fact from investors, customers, and the wider world. By 2022, Holmes had been convicted of fraud and Theranos's operations shut down. Still, many corporations and scientists remain focused on the challenge of blood testing, hoping to one day do what Theranos had claimed it could.
Questions. Number 13. What is true about blood testing? Number 14. What is one reason that Elizabeth Holmes was charged with a crime? C. Better than teachers? Artificial intelligence is becoming a revolutionary part of education in some countries. In China, some of the newer AI technologies are in student headsets. The headsets analyze brainwaves and then signal to teachers about whether a child is paying attention or not in class, or is feeling happy or frustrated. Similar systems exist in some U.S. schools, where AI can even report student moods. Teachers who participate in these programs are supposed to analyze this data and then adjust their teaching methods as necessary. More autonomous AI systems can set distinct materials for each student, automatically updating content and teaching approaches. Uniquely, AI teachers do not get tired or require salaries. At the same time, skeptics say that claims that AI can truly improve student performance are not supported by neuroscientists' research. Furthermore, AI doubters feel that robots cannot teach children core social skills, especially emotional intelligence quotient, or EQ. These skills, such as patience or empathy, are taught not only through words and books, but through body language, imagery, and even touch and smell. One Google study strongly correlated EQ, not IQ, with professional and social success. AI supporters counter that AI is perfectly capable of teaching EQ, perhaps even better than humans. This appears to be a debate that is only getting started, especially since hundreds of billions of educational dollars are at stake.
Questions. Number 15. What is one thing the speaker says about AI systems? Number 16. According to the speaker, what do AI skeptics say? D. Geothermal energy. For the last few decades, humanity has been searching for clean, affordable energy. Both scientists and environmentalists seem to agree that geothermal energy, which is actually a type of volcanic force, meets these requirements. This renewable source helps mitigate the problem of fossil fuel emissions warming the atmosphere and causing climate change. It lacks the impact that mining, drilling, logging, and other energy-related activities have on the environment. There is no need to build huge hydroelectric dams, hydrogen factories, or sprawling solar panel farms. Although not very cheap to set up, it is safe and releases almost no pollution. There are several models of geothermal energy generation. The dry steam model collects underground steam and uses it to power turbines. The flash steam model gets power from steam released from high-pressure groundwater. The binary cycle model uses hot underground water to heat another liquid, turning it to steam to power generators. However, a major limitation of all these models is that most geothermal vents, or holes that the hot water or steam comes from, are relatively few in number. The underground steam and hot water reservoirs can also become depleted. Because of these limitations, geothermal energy comprised less than 1% of total U.S. energy output in 2020.
Questions. Number 17. What is one reason why people are so interested in geothermal energy? Number 18. What is one thing that restricts the use of geothermal energy? E. State taxes in the U.S. The United States has a federal system, so its Constitution allows many duties that would be carried out at the national level elsewhere to be done at the state level. Naturally, the tax policy of each state depends on the state government. Therefore, the level and quality of education, healthcare, and public safety in each state is decided by state voters through their representatives. Generally, a large and wealthy state will have much more in total tax revenue to spend on its residents. However, it may also have disproportionately greater problems to deal with. California, for example, has America's largest number of billionaires, but also its largest number of homeless people. Regular state taxes actually emerged in 1901. The effect has allowed states much autonomy in funding their own operations. However, there is enormous complexity in this configuration when residents are required to pay both federal and state taxes. States also challenge one another for businesses and sometimes lower general tax rates to attract firms or make special tax deals for specific companies. Frequent changes like these make yearly tax rules hard to follow. Moreover, lower state tax revenue engenders lower spending on things like daycare centers, parks, and roads. All in all, the current system may not quite resemble what the national founders had envisioned.
Questions. Number 19. What is one thing we learn about the U.S. Constitution? Number 20. What is one thing that influences the complexity of the U.S. tax system?